I first went to Africa when I was 20, and I fell in love with the wild places in Kenya. It was the most magic country. And on my last day there, I remember meeting an old-timer. He was the safari operator. He'd been there all his life. And I told him all about the places I'd been and how much I was knocked out by the wildlife. And he stopped me and looked at me and said, "Mark my words, they will all disappear one day. Every single wild place." He really shocked me. So that made a big impact on me when I was back in the UK. I got involved as a zoologist in studying wildlife and then in conserving it. But his words never left me, and I kept on asking myself whether we were making a difference. And finally, 30 years on, I began to realize I was beginning to believe the old man, the old timer, and beginning to doubt myself. I wanted to understand their relationship with the wild. What was it, and how did it differ from our own? And could we learn anything from them and adapt it to our own modern ways? I packed in my consultancy work and I went to Africa. This time for no other reason but to see if I could get underneath the surface as to what was really going on, why we couldn't live in harmony with wild animals and wild places. When I was taken out in the Kalahari, the women showed me where the important roots are. They know where they all are, the individual plants. And the men know what will make the large animals move and where they'll find them, what the condition the animals are in and what their behavior is. And so they have this knowledge, wonderful knowledge of nature. The first thing I noticed was how beautiful some of the paintings were. Some of the animals are exquisitely drawn. But there's more to the paintings than just that side of it. They show an intimacy between people and animals which we no longer have. Some of the paintings are partly human and partly animal. And they tell of a time, an early time, when bushmen and animals were not separated at all. And this intimacy I felt was important, and it was why the bushmen wouldn't overhunt. To them, it was a wrong against their gods to take more than they needed, and they were very efficient with what they took. Destruction of nature is often unintended. It's not that it's planned, it just there's a certain carelessness in the way we develop a landscape. And it may start, for instance, with a new road being put into a new part of the country which hasn't had a road before. And as part of that road building, wildlife populations are hunted. It becomes profitable to cut down woods and forests, and then towns spring up, and then there's people wanting jobs, and that means more development. Development often leads to pollution and overuse of resources, or the misuse of them, and the wildlife disappears, not by intention but just from carelessness. It's a carelessness in our system which is leading to a loss, which makes it all the more tragic because it's not, in most cases, necessary. I wanted to put all these impressions I'd gathered on my trip together into a book. And that book has become The Storm Leopard. And it's about our own relationship with nature and some of the gaps and some of the problems we are having. I believe that, like the Bushmen, we need to develop an ecological consciousness The Bushman show us how to integrate these different parts of the relationship with nature. The economy, the knowledge of nature and its ecology, and the spiritual side, the side which makes us really care about nature. All these things have to be together if we're actually going to look after the planet, I believe. And I've tried to express how that could happen through this book.